What's up, everybody? And I just wasted $17.39 because I chose to go to AMC theaters and see a movie titled The American Society of Magical Negroes. That is an hour and 45 minutes I cannot get back into my life. I don't know, man. This movie was probably one of the most boring and most uninspiring movie I've ever seen. I really want to know who this movie was made for. Like, why? Why would you title the movie The American Society of Magical Negroes? Who is this made for? Like, is this made to uplift blacks? Because if you see the plot, it's not made to uplift any black people. Is it made to offend white people? Because the main theme of the American Society of Magical Negroes, the school that's in the movie, they're there for like hundreds of years since slavery to serve white people and to make sure that the white man feels good in order for no black people getting killed, because their thing is that if a white man is frustrated, then boom, that there goes somebody that's black. And the plot of this movie is just ass, man. It starts off that a main character named Aaron, he's a light-skinned black man. He has horrible art, and he's at this art show where his art, it looks like it's made of yarn, and everyone at the art show did not understand what his art was supposed to be, so he didn't get any lookers, any potential buyers. They kind of like didn't even come anywhere around him, and it seems like his character has an anxiety issue, but it's never even touched upon in any part of the movie. Like, I thought that he'd have some anxiety issue, of like approaching stuff or doing stuff, but he just, throughout the whole movie, he was just really unsure. Like, Aaron is probably one of the most boring characters I've seen because he has no reaction when a serious thing happens. The only time he has a reaction is when he meets this girl named Lizzie later on. But other than that, most of the times, he just has this same bland, blank face when something is going off. And this anxiety has never touched upon later in the movie. So the manager of the art show now tells Aaron that he needs to, sell his art so that she can make money. So then the last buyer of the art show that Aaron now is tasked to approach, the last buyer, he thinks that Aaron is the waiter. So that's the first racist part of the movie that they're trying to send the message of. So then Aaron now reluctantly has to go and get the last buyer's order. Then he now gets fired by the manager because the manager, she said that if he can't make money, that she can't help him. So then Aaron now leaves the show, throws his art away in the dumpster. During this whole time, there's another waiter who's black, a black old man. He notices it, and then he now follows Aaron as Aaron leaves the art show. Then he now goes to the ATM trying to get out money from his account, but it doesn't work. Then he now sees a drunk woman coming up to the ATM in hopes to withdraw money from her account. She now asks Aaron to help her get some money from her account because I guess she's too drunk. Then something happens where some dumb comedy happens where like it's so inconvenient that now it seems that Aaron stole her wallet and her card and her purse. So then she now tells her boyfriend and his friend, and they now go try to attack Aaron. But then the black waiter steps in the previous art show to use his magic to reverse what happened. When he now does that, when he now fixes the situation, to convince the white girl and her boyfriend and the friend to just go away, the waiter and the main character now go to a bar to discuss about Aaron's problems that affect him. And this is probably one of the only part where the anxiety kind of gets touched back in, but that's pretty much it. Just leave it flat. Then the waiter now tells Aaron that, he has a job interview for him. But the job interview is a little bit, unorthodox. But then, the waiter now uses magic to teleport Aaron to the job interview. They go inside and see that the American Society of Magical Negroes is recruiting, and that's the name of it. They're all black people, Then the woman who's teaching, and she's black, she's teaching the class of the history of the old magical Negroes, showing them some magical Negro who's like old, and he helps a white man, Mr. Avery, perfect his pool table skills. Then she now shows them another vision from 1955 that a Negro grabs a police officer by the balls and then just walks away like it's nothing. Like, when I was sitting there, I was like, what is this movie even about? This movie is pure ass. Like, what is this even for? The comedy is just not good. Like, it's just trash. I don't know who this movie is made for. Then the teacher now states that their powers are to serve the clients who are white and make them feel good. Then next as Aaron, after that meeting, he now ventures on through the magical Negro school. I guess he's feeling overwhelmed about this whole thing, being magical Negroes, having to serve white people, having to having magic too. So then he now tries to tell the waiter that, hey, I'm actually, I don't want to do this. I want to leave. Then the waiter, without Aaron's consent, now teleports him to some place, and then he now tells Aaron that white people are the most dangerous species in the world. He lists police brutality, racism, and blames white people for their discomfort. So the American Magical School for Negroes ensures to make white people happy, so blacks don't die by unhappy white people. And when one white person gets unhappy, they become a client for the school. Why? Like, what is this really made for? Like if this is supposed to uplift black people, why are black people having to serve white people to make them feel good? Then the waiter now, uses his power to convince a white police officer to go to a party with Aaron. Aaron doesn't think keeping white people happy isn't a big deal. Aaron gets scared as he goes up to 3 white people at the party. The white police officer now later arrives and starts to get mad about being late. Aaron is told by the waiter to focus on his pale ass feelings. So then Aaron now sees and has his powers, and it's just no stakes were made for Aaron to even get his powers. He didn't even earn anything to gain any powers. The waiter now explains that Aaron always had the powers in him because black people always have the powers in them to become magical. Then Aaron now uses his powers to convince the white officer to calm down. Then now go into the party. Then Aaron now uses his powers again to convince the bouncer that, hey, they're actually cool people. Then they now go inside the party. Then after that, Aaron continues to go to the school. He now meets the president of the American Society of Magical Negroes, a woman named Dee Dee Booker. Dee Dee scolds Aaron and says that the Negroes at the school live longer than most black people. Dee Dee now then asks Aaron to join, and Aaron officially says yes. Aaron goes on his first mission, and on his first mission, he now bumps into a woman, Lizzie, as she's buying coffee. And he now checks her out in a very funny way, begins complimenting her. They now start to like each other, but then he now abruptly has to leave because the waiter tells him that his first client is a white man named Jason who works at a tech company called Meatbox. So then Aaron now meets Jason, and he now uses his powers to make a computer next to Jason when the manager said that there's no computer next to them, but it makes no sense because the manager thought that something was off, but this was never later touched upon by anybody else there. They never even tried to go back to this to even suspect that Aaron had powers. As Aaron and Jason now start to hang out, he now sees Lizzie, the woman he met at the coffee shop. Aaron notices Jason's about to get frustrated, and he now attempts to guide him as a magical Negro. He's told by the waiter to spend some time with Lizzie to get intel, but also tells Aaron that he can't fall in love with Lizzie. The only thing I really liked about the movie, though, is the bond that Lizzie and Aaron had. They had a pretty good bond, I'll be honest with you. They kind of bounced off each other well, despite Aaron's bland acting, bland character, lack of emotion throughout any of the scenes. The scenes with him and Lizzie is actually pretty good. Their relationship feels natural to me. Then Meatbox has a big meeting to discuss their lack of diversity. The CEO, a white man named Mick, says that they're the first company that closed for 12 hours during the George Floyd protest, to say that he and the company is not racist. He says Meatbox will have a reinvention with a whole new logo and the overall. After the meeting, Jason tells Aaron that he really likes Lizzie. He's really into Lizzie. The waiter now tells Aaron that he cannot love Lizzie and he has to set up Lizzie and Jason so that Aaron can be happy, so that he can please the white man. Jason now reveals that he doesn't care that there weren't any people of color on his last project for Meatbox, showing that Jason's actually racist. This movie is just like such bland. The way I'm describing it, it's just such bland story. It's basically this happens, and this happens, and this happens, then this happens, and that happens, then this happens. He now spends more time with Lizzie. The manager tells Lizzie that they're gonna go forward with Jason. Lizzie now vents to Aaron. They now go on a walk. Then Aaron now shows Lizzie his art. Lizzie really liked his art. They're about to kiss, but as they're about to kiss, the magical school of Negroes, all of them, their powers start to fade away. They all start to lose their powers. It was actually implied that because of what Aaron did, it caused that. But then another girl that's a magical Negro, she now says that, hey, it's actually me. I screamed at my white man. Then she now gets banned, but their powers aren't back. And next you know, it's presentation day. Since Jason now got appointed and got promoted to the presentation with Mick, the CEO, Aaron has to be there because the presentation is to show that they have diversity. And then as this is going on, Aaron now tells Lizzie he sees her as a friend due to the magical Negro thing. Then it's just there is no villain in this movie. If the actual villain here is Jason, I guess so, but the other real villains are like the white people that I guess they're trying to say that are dangerous, and that they're, it's like there's no real threat, there's no real tension, there's no real anything, because the movie ends as the presentation is going on. Aaron can't fight his love for Lizzie, so then he now, lashes out against Jason, because Jason tells Aaron that, he only needs Aaron because he's black. So it now causes a big disaster, a big whole disaster for the presentation. It just embarrasses everyone involved. Then Aaron now grabs Lizzie and teleports Lizzie to a big tower. And he's about to kiss her. Aaron, I guess, teleported back to the magical school of Negroes because Dee Dee found out that he was using his powers in that way to fall in love and to disrupt the client. Then Dee Dee now banishes him. Then boom, the movie ends. Aaron, after this happened, I guess the only little change is that now the magical Negroes are more upfront with their white clients now. But that's basically it. There's so many plot holes in this movie. Like, is Lizzie still in that tower? You know what I mean? And it's not only that, like, did anybody see Aaron use his powers? This movie is just boring. It's just completely boring. I found myself looking at my phone numerous times. I would not recommend this movie to anyone, in my opinion. It's not worse than, I would say, Madam Web, but it's a very ass movie, man. But this video is long as hell. That's the end of the video. I'm out. Peace.